Hey my friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Melissa and I have for you today a week's worth of meal ideas that we had this week, and they are super easy, very delicious, and very family friendly. So stay tuned so you don't miss any of it. The video this week is in memory of my sweet niece who passed away a week ago today. She was just such a ray of sunshine in our family, and she is already missed so incredibly much. Most of what you see, well, a lot of what you see will be kind of redos of what I've cooked already, because my son was coming in town for the funeral, and so he had requested some things. I had planned on cooking this chili last Sunday night, but because of her passing, I ended up not cooking. So I cooked it on Monday. I will have a little recipe down in the description box of how I cook this. It's very simple. I'll also have a link to the full video where I have cooked it before, but this is just a super easy meal that can be made. You can actually add elbow macaroni to make it chili mac, but just to make it simple, for this week I made chili on this night. The recipe that I'll have below is just based on how we like it. You can add any kind of beans that you want. These are just the particular beans that we like, and then you can top it however you like. I put sour cream in mine as well as some Fritos, and this was delicious. This was the day that my son was coming into town for the funeral, and he had asked for lasagna. Lasagna was one of the things that I made. So to make this, I just brown the ground beef, add garlic, I add some minced onion. I really like the flavor of minced onion over onion powder. But anyway, I use minced onion. And then I added the pasta sauce. Of course, use whatever you like. Now this next step is where I differ. I use the box, the recipe on the box. So this is where it's different. I actually use cottage cheese as well as ricotta. So I use half ricotta and half cottage cheese. And then I add the rest of the ingredients that the recipe on the box calls for. I do use the recipe that's on the box of the Great Value oven ready lasagna noodles. So I mean, I don't really have a link to put, but that's basically the recipe that I use. I probably should have used a smaller casserole dish because it did kind of spread it a little thinner than what I'm used to, but you know, it is what it is. It was fine. It still tasted good, and he ate, you know, a big portion when he got in. So anyway, I just layer all the different ingredients that the recipe calls for, and I think I cooked it for about 45 minutes covered in the oven, and then when it came out, I let it set for about 15, served it with a salad and some garlic bread, and this was really good. On Wednesday night, he wanted gumbo, so that's what I'm making here, and I guess I cheat by using the jar roux, but I just think it really makes it have a good flavor. And I also add a package of the gumbo base. It's a Louisiana gumbo base, and that just makes it so much easier. Then I add a little oregano, I add some garlic powder, as well as thyme. I don't have any measurements, I just kind of base it on how it smells to me when I'm cooking it. But I add pepper, salt, and then I just whisk it together. I do add a splash of Worcestershire sauce, as well as a splash of Tabasco. Well, maybe a few splashes of Tabasco. And I also add a bay leaf. Since I'm making a smaller pot, I just use one bay leaf. Once the broth starts cooking a little bit, then I add the vegetables, which is onion, bell pepper, and celery. I add the chicken that I had from the freezer, as well as the sausage. I let this cook for probably a couple of hours, and then I make jasmine rice on the side, and this is what the gumbo looks like. It's so good. It's so yummy. I will also have a link to the video where I cook that in the description box below. This was the day of the funeral, so I knew it was going to be a long time before we would be able to eat, so I thought I would make a big breakfast. I made sausage gravy, and you basically just take whatever kind of breakfast sausage you like, crumble it up, drain it, take the grease off of it, and mix the flour in it. And I will have a link to this video where I share the full and exact recipe. But once you have the flour mixed in, then you're going to add in the milk, and you are going to stir the milk until it thickens up. And depending on how you like your sausage gravy, if you like it thicker, then you don't have to use quite as much milk. And then if you add the milk and you see it's starting to get a little too thick, then you could just add more milk. But to this, to season it, now we use the Tennessee Pride hot, so it's already pretty seasoned, but I go ahead and add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. And since it is hot, I don't put quite as much pepper. But anyway, it's probably a little too thin at this point, so I just let it cook a little bit longer. With this, we're having bacon and scrambled eggs, but once I get the bacon cooked, then I add a little ingredient that I think just kind of puts it over the top. I put a little maple syrup in it. Now, if you use maple sausage, then you probably wouldn't have to use the maple syrup, but we like the hot sausage, so that's why I add the maple syrup. And it just gives it a little bit of a sweet taste to go along with the heat. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get the eggs beat so that I can scramble them. And then once those are scrambled, then breakfast is done. I went ahead and plated my plate with the eggs and bacon and biscuits. I split the biscuit in half and just put the sausage gravy on top, and that was it. This is another one of my son's. It's really kind of all our favorite. If I have to eat breakfast, this is what I like to eat, but my son definitely requested sausage gravy. So anyway, this was our big breakfast. On Friday night, we went out to eat. He loves a restaurant here called Walk-Ons, and so that's where we went. We got the boudin balls as our appetizer, and for my meal, I got a buffalo chicken wrap with waffle fries. Tonight we're having turkey bacon guacamole sandwiches. So I have some ciabatta bread, I have my deli spicy turkey, bacon, some sliced provolone, some lettuce, and some guacamole. I could have made the guacamole, from scratch, but I decided not to. I'm also going to make some sour cream and onion dip. But the first thing I do is cook up my bacon, and I was watching one of Megan's videos from Megan's Kitchen, and she made some sandwiches, and they were just, not just your normal everyday sandwich. And when I saw that, I was like, you know what, that sounds really good. So I decided to make this one. But anyway, I just get the ciabatta bread opened up. I love eating sandwiches on ciabatta bread. But anyway, I put mayonnaise on the bottom of all three. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to go ahead and put all of it together and then put it in the oven, but I didn't want my guacamole in the oven. So I basically just put the turkey, the bacon, and the cheese on it. Then I had some melted butter with some garlic in it, and I put that on top of the top roll of the ciabatta bread, and I baked it on 350 for probably about, I don't know, 8 to 10 minutes. I didn't want the bread to get too hard, but I did want that butter to kind of cook in, and I wanted my cheese to melt. So at this point, my son and husband didn't want the guacamole on theirs, so I just put another layer of mayonnaise on the top of the bun. I put the lettuce on there and closed it up, and then you'll see me do the same thing with my husband's sandwich. And then for mine, I did want that guacamole, and it kind of gives me that, if you like Subway, they have a turkey bacon guac wrap that they make, and that's kind of the idea for me to do the sandwich this way, because I actually really like that wrap. So anyway, that's the way I wanted my sandwich. So I have the spicy guacamole that I put on my bread, put the lettuce on there, and closed it up, and that was dinner. And like I said, we had it with sour cream and onion dip and some Ruffles, and this was dinner. The sandwich was really good, and it really kind of hit the spot. So thanks, Megan, for putting that in one of your videos and kind of giving me the craving for it. But anyway, that is it for this week of What's for Dinner. I hope that you got some ideas for your meal planning for your week. And I would love it if you have not subscribed to my channel, if you would click that subscribe button and click the bell button so you don't miss any of my videos. And if you do want more meal ideas, then click the box you see on the screen right now. And I will see you next time. Bye.